It's a sunny day. Euros is on. Copa America's on. And we're talking Spurs. But we got to do it. It's that time again. Episode 132. Hello, I'm Sam Spurs for Life. This is Paxton Road TV, PRTv Spurs, episode number 132 of Talking Points. This is it. This is what we're talking about today. Let's see how Ezadi's transfer is. Tottenham. Do you like that? I did anyway. Anyway, let's get into this episode. Joining me for this fantastic show, Sid Spurs, Darius 3K. Welcome to the stream. Finding my slippers, or taking them off, should I say, because it's a warm vest on, as you can see. And we're going for it. It's summertime. Officially, it is here.
Well, for what? 2 days, maybe max? 3 days max?
Let's not complain. Let's get on it and talk about Spurs in the summertime. Sid, how are you doing? Can you hear all right?
Yeah, I'm saying man complains when there's no sun, and then man complains when there is sun.
It's true.
Hey, look. I'm not going to say no more. I've moved where I normally am because I want to sit and bask like a bearded dragon in the sun. So
This is it. Sam, you forgot, not only is the Copa America, you've got the Euros, you got the Cricket World Cup, and you've also got tennis going on. You know, Australia, the arse is whipped, trying to do, you know, it's just the World Cup of cricket is madness. Never get too cocky. It is
craziness. It is craziness. I'm just adjusting all this at the moment so we can do this properly. Here we go. Anyway, this is it. I was going to call this Sid Talks, you know, as in TED Talks, because you ain't said much about the transfer window. And I know why, because there's not much to really say. I don't know what's going on, if I'm honest. I've heard rumors of this and that. Has anybody been signed? Does anybody want to start off with anything that we've done business-wise, apart from those two words, TW? We ain't doing that. Not today.
Yeah, you know, it's
wait, what's TW? I'm trying to work that out.
Don't start. Don't. Oh, you see, why have you done that? Why did you do that? I was all geared up to get through the whole thing, and you went and done that. That's not funny at all.
We'll wait.
This is it. Listen, it's just every day it's new players linked. Certain people on certain streams are just, I don't know if it's just clickbait or whatever, but they're just coming up with players randomly daily. I don't know if it's to get viewers or not. I don't know. But honestly, it's never easy like Sunday morning, as they say. And I'm not really that interested. That's why there's no sick talks or transfers, because it's all bullshit. It's all rumors surfacing, and people just, you know, rinse and repeat. Until that shirt is held up is when you might start seeing sick talks, because between now and listen, Postecoglou's at the Euros, man. We're going to see him tonight at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the studio for the England game. So man's not
extra pay package, isn't it?
Listen, let me say my piece on that Postecoglou. I was saying this to Darius. I want my manager to be at home, chilling himself out, talking about Spurs. Don't go on TV for them to ask you questions directly and for you to tell them the answers because he's too honest. And he'll tell them, nah, mate, we're going to play like that all season next year. I don't want him to talk about anything Spurs. Just don't go on there. Anyway, that's my rant over with about Ange Postecoglou. Yeah, he's getting an extra pay packet. What do you think of what's been going on in the Euros, Darius, so far? Copa America, if you've been watching that. And then transition onto our business, because Terry Wright said, no, Daniel, sorry, he's been right in what you said. It's been dead so far.
And then
been non-existent. Been non-existent. But to be fair with you, I mean, the only teams that are really doing any business are the flipping ones that need to do business, and they're doing it between each other. So I'm not looking too hard on that. I've not really watched the Copa America. Don't care about the Copa America that much. I probably watched maybe the knockout stages. towards the end of it, yeah, just to see, a few of our players play and to see if Messi wins, whatever. Brazil are horrible. Argentina are all right. It's not. I mean, Uruguay are good, but again, I don't really care. Euros has been great. I've loved the Euros. Been a lot of teams. I think this has been, for me, this Euros is a sign of the new guard of football, sort of coming in and now not necessarily being the new guard, but being the main guys. So like the Musialas, the Wirtzes, these guys, the Nico Williams, these guys have really taken Jude Bellingham. I guess you could even put in that category, even though he's been here for about 4 years now. These guys have taken, their countries by their necks and carried them and put them on their back. So yeah, age of the youngsters now. The kids are coming and they're starting to, you see the Cruzes and the Modric's and the Kantes who are still putting in great performances and scoring goals and getting man of the matches, but that's the tail end of that era now. I think we are entering a new era of football. So yeah, I guess that goes. You want me to segue? I guess that goes hand in hand with what we're sort of looking to do at Spurs, because the age of players that we are seeming to sign seem to be of, that young age. And I guess young to me is still, like 21s, 2s, 23s. That's still young to me. But, you've got players like Lamine Yamal who's 16 playing Euros like he's a 24-year-old. And, you question what's realistic and what's not. So I think we're going to probably adopt a similar method to what we've been doing, as in signing young players. We don't see them fit enough to come into the team, loaning them back to the clubs. I think we're trying to take advantage. I think we're trying to, sign the wonder kid, sign the superstar before they're a superstar in a way. So I don't think that's personally the best way to go about it. We look at the Eze deal and that might be a little bit different. He seems like he's a little bit more in his prime, you would say. But again, with Elise going to Bayern Munich for literally £45 million plus 5 million add-ons, so technically cheaper than Brennan Johnson. Yeah, I don't know if that Eze deal is going to be as simple as I thought it was going to be. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I guess it's still a long time until the window's done, and I don't think we're going to see any movement realistically until the Euros and the Copa America is done. So
let me transfer into Sid. Let me get Sid's point of view, as he is the transfer guru of Paxton Road TV, PRTv Spurs. He usually does. Sid says, I was calling it Sid Talks because he ain't done much talking recently, but I'm going to call it Sid Talks from now on. Sid, what are you talking? What are you telling me? What's going on? Are you happy with what's going on in the Euros in terms of England? And Eze, I don't know what we're talking about. We're not getting that player. Come on, fam. We're not getting him. What are you telling me?
I think transfer talk is quiet. I think Darius said it all. You've got the younger generations now ruling it at the moment in the Euros, and all of them players are going to be completely out of Spurs' fund, right? Because half of them ain't going to come to Spurs, and secondly, most of them are already contracted to where they are for long-term contracts. So forget them. We're going to have to keep. There's going to be a certain search engine that's going to be very busy, and Danny Rose is going to be typing on that left, right, and center, because there's going to be a lot of finding Google players on there that Danny Rose is going to have to, because players that we're going to end up being linked with are people that probably we've never heard of. And like Darius said, they're going to be players like for the future, for the whatever, not players that can come straight in, firing, to get us where we need to get to. In terms of, obviously, do you know what? I don't think there's been that many standout players yet. There've been Musiala's done well, Lamina's done well.
I think Nico Williams is a big standout.
Nico Williams has done all right, yeah. But again, it's players.
Calafori, Italy, the Maldini looking brother.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's nothing that, it doesn't even matter, because like you said, they can all stick out now. I still remember, I don't know, I think you might not remember, Darius, but your dad might remember Karol Poboski when he had that magnificent Euros and then he went to Man United and absolutely flopped. Yeah. Diego Forlan done the same as well. So I don't think this time round there's that people are going to be looking at to go and buy after the Euros. I don't think there's going to be that many players that are playing in the Euros that end up in the Prem, to be fair, because most of them are already contracted. Like you said, Postecoglou's in the studio, so unless he's got a list already set up, who knows what's going on. I've just
Get
read
your ass back home and start studying the bloody transfer market. Stop bloody getting on TV. I don't want to see him on TV.
Yeah.
I don't want to see
And
him
then
on TV.
obviously, I don't know what's going on. Like you said, Copa America, I'm not really that interested in it, and until the latter stages, I totally concur with you there, Darius. And then I think Villa have done some business today, haven't they, with that Salim Illing Jr. going the opposite way with Douglas Luiz.
Yeah. All to balance books, isn't it?
Yeah. Thingy's deal, Calvert-Lewin, is not happening now to Newcastle. They've pulled out for whatever reason, so that's an interesting one.
Because he's shit.
Yeah, probably. And that's about it, really. I think the Euros is going to finish. I think once the Euros finishes is where we might start getting a little bit more serious. Because don't forget, we still got quite a lot left, over a month, just over 5-6 weeks before the Prem season. So I don't think anything's going to get... I mean, there's 4 potential signings at Tottenham. I've been hearing that for 3 weeks now, and we haven't fucking even got one over the line yet. So I don't know. And I think it's going to be another 2-3 weeks. And as always, like you said, Sam, Postecoglou likes to say how it is, and players that we're going to be linked with, other teams are going to come and hijack and pay more money because Daniel Levy ain't going to pay the money. So it's going to be an interesting one. And I've already said to you guys what my thoughts were before on the group. So let's see what happens. And I'm staying out of all these rinse and repeats because there's too many people just rinsing and repeating stories that are not going to happen and making Spurs fans believe, yes, we're getting this. Like somebody just put back that Szymanski one today. It's just come out of nowhere. I don't know about you. I don't know about if you've heard of that one before, Darius. But out of the blue for me today.
Let me just read. I'm going to put up some of the. I'm on share screen. Why not do that? You know what I mean? Technology being what it is, let's do some presenting share screen. Let's.
What
see.
did you do to Darius?
Oh, he should be back on soon. I hope. I would imagine. Am I sharing this one? Yeah, this one will do. Yes. So just on BBC website, gossip. Just reading a bit of gossip here. What does it say about Tottenham Hotspur? Let's get down to this one here. Tottenham have begun talks with the representatives of Lille's 24-year-old Canada forward, Jonathan Davis, who is linked with a move to Chelsea.
Sam, 4 clubs. It was on Sports News before. There's 4 clubs interested along with Spurs. So that's another one that's just been pulled out from last year's gossip.
Okay, let's go to the media watch and see what we got on here. And the first story I've got on the media watch, let me tell you this. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium set times. That's where we are. This is where we are. Talking more about what's going on in the stadium in terms of the Dark Matter World Tour for Pearl Jam. Oh my God. Right, let's read this one. I think this might be the one.
Is that the one, the 5-horse race with Nijinsky, Red Rum, and all them lot in it, yeah?
Yeah, Giovanni Leone.
Yeah.
Is that what you were talking about?
And then it'll become a 2-horse race and it'll be a 2-horse race and we'll come third, yeah? Yeah.
So, Tyrus, we're just having a look on the Spurs media watch. Tottenham are interested in Giovanni Leone. Over the last week, several Italian outlets have reported that Sampdoria, who triggered the 1.5 buy option to buy Leone on the back of his loan spell at the club, are now ready to sell him for profit. My friend, Fabrizio Fraudano. Anybody want to talk about this guy if you know anything about him?
Never heard of him in my life.
There you go. And that's not going to win us the fucking Premier League next year, is it? Is it?
Don't know. It might be good. I can't tell you. I literally couldn't tell you.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even want to look at some of these things because somebody made another great point on here. Where was the point? I think it was here. Here we go. We've made more transfers in our coaching staff than we have actual staff.
And you know what? It's not even good ones as well, because apparently this guy did a tiny bit of research. He won an Australia. I think he won
Australian A-League or something.
You've got a little bit of a lag. I don't know if you might want to check if you want to do 5G unless you're on
Oh
5-3
yeah, that's
already.
better now. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
just saying I think he won the league in Australia twice, and then went to Hibs, and then was apparently god awful at Hibs. So to me,
Fantastic.
it just seems
Get
like
him in
another
right
yes
now.
man.
Get him in. Get him
Yeah,
in.
Get him in
another,
right now.
another yes man.
Get
Yeah.
him in. Terry Wright saying, I think we might see Kulu getting moved to backup striker simply due to the lack of viable striker options in the market, with a quality right winger coming in. Right.
Oh no, there's plenty options in the market. It's just, are they options within our budget? That's the difference.
Correct.
Because there's plenty options in the market. Surprisingly, this summer, I think, for a striker. If you want to go old, you could look at, Guirassy, who's at Stuttgart, who scored 30 goals in the Bundesliga. If you want to look at a younger striker, you've got the likes of, Gyökeres, who's doing really well. I know we've been linked with Jimenez, who I'm not a big fan of, but again, he's a younger striker. Ivan Toney could be potentially available.
So let's stop on the Ivan Toney one, and I'm going to ask both of you. Let me just get a quick overview from both of you. Ivan Toney, 40 million, 50 million, 60 million. Would you pay any of that sort of figure for him? 29 years of age, I think he's 30, possibly coming up. Proven, I guess you could say proven in the Premier League. Is he something that would float Ange Postecoglou's boat?
I don't think so.
Personality-wise,
I don't think so. And I would max pay like 30 million pounds for him. 35 million pounds for him. I think it'd be very hard for me to turn down a striker of his quality because of the lack of quality we have in that position. But when I look at it, I've been saying this to people. Would you rather give? We've got about 4 strikers, I would say, in that academy or in and around that academy, or young strikers as in Valise, Parrott, Scarlett, Donnelly. Would you rather give them a chance and pay big money for a left winger, which I think is much more important to our system and our team?
No. We've already got a left winger.
yeah,
We
TW
haven't.
and MS.
We've got 3 left wingers. We've got Son, we've got Solomon, and we've got TW.
That's one. And that,
So
MS and TW.
why the hell would we want anything else? We've got worldies in there.
Yeah,
We've got worldies in there.
Well, top.
Are we doing this then? Is this what we're doing then?
This is what we have to do because this is what Spurs do to us. And I've got blindsided by it many a times. Sid told me a while ago, wait till they put the shirt up. And when all this Eze shit was going around, I was kind of, oh yeah, because that might kind of make sense. But that was before we signed TW. Sid, Ivan Toney, talk to me.
I honestly need to find out first how much money he's put on him signing for Spurs. Listen, he's made it more than clear that it was Arsenal. He wanted to go to Arsenal, blah, 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 blah. Then he's done this stupidness with the betting and he's got a ban and he's come back. I honestly believe 50, 60 million is too much for a 28-year-old, right? And I also believe that Postecoglou ain't going to go for him. I think listen, his hold-up play is brilliant. It's brilliant. He can score penalties, which is good. He gets goals. But I don't believe he's a Postecoglou player, and I don't think Angie's going to go for him for that price. I think he's going to look elsewhere, try and get someone else in with a longer shelf life, not a best before end date on it.
Well, he might be best before end of next season.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
Is he on a free next season? What's his name? Ivan Toney.
I'll check it out.
Or is he contracted up? I don't know if they contracted up and then they put on what released. I don't know what sort of clause. Anyway, 60 million. So again, if you're looking at spending that sort of money, I wouldn't want to spend that money on Ivan Toney personally.
Next year,
I'd rather
Sam.
Next year.
Yeah.
No, again, the players. How many times are we going to have to be burnt to understand these things? I've seen. Again, I'm not going to say he's got an attitude problem because that's the wrong. I don't know if he's got an attitude problem, but there's things about his attitude that kind of makes me question the player himself. Like I said, he clearly wants out of Brentford. Has made it clear he wants out of Brentford, and hasn't really said anything positive about them to kind of, in a roundabout way, say, yeah, thanks Brentford, all this. I will be looking to play for a Champions League Cup. He's kind of said, yeah, I've done the betting thing. I want out. Is that almost what it feels like? I just want out now. Arsenal, I support Arsenal. And then he did that Arsenal thing when he was on, I think somebody called it on social media. And I just don't know about the player himself. Yeah, he can score goals. Yes, he's got hold-up play. Is he special? Is he next level? To put that money in, not to try out a youngster, I don't know if I spend that 60 million to do it.
I would never. You're breaking the transfer record for Ivan Toney.
Exactly. And Sam, what you got to remember as well is when he got suspended, Mbume and what's his name up top, Wissa done a fantastic job. Fantastic job. He wasn't missed. And if you're that good, you would be missed, right? But he wasn't. And them two done a sterling job. Every game they scored almost. So for me, that says it all.
Yeah, I'm not 60 mil is a lot of money for Ivan Toney. I keep saying, you lot keep saying we've got all these wingers, but we need a left winger. I'll keep saying
the piss, Sam. Darius.
I was taking a piss. We haven't got any left wingers.
We haven't got any.
Opinion. We haven't got any.
But what I'm saying is, you guys are taking a piss, but you're taking a piss with, it's like a hint of truth in it. Because if we didn't sign anybody else in left wing, would any of us be surprised?
I won't be surprised.
Exactly. So that's why I worry when you say things. I'm like, you lot say we've got Manor Solomon and we've got Son and we've got TW. I won't even trigger you at the moment. I won't even trigger you.
MS.
But it's like, you say that and I'm like, well, this is how the board are thinking. They're thinking, well, these guys might come good. Son, Son and Werner. I'm not thinking, nah. We need to really attack that position. And if not, then we need to be ruthless in that midfield as well, because I think we could still upgrade in that midfield position.
But there's priority positions now. Like I said, just for my point on this, with regards to the left wing, and I'll be a bit more serious if I can. The left wing, we've got, if we think about it, 3 players available now without doing anything else. TW, Son, Manor Solomon. Those
MS.
would be MS. Sorry, I'm not going to do that because I know reasons why. MS. And if you really wanted to put somebody else on there, you could put Brennan Johnson, you could put Kulusevski. So I don't think the left side is something we're going to fill in the immediate future. This is why the rumors, the talk about Eze doesn't make any logical sense to me. It doesn't, unless you're getting rid of Solomon, unless you are putting TW as a specific backup and he's not going to be starting any games and you're telling him he's only going to do this. It's not going to happen like that. So I don't know if that's a priority for Spurs at this moment in time. However, I do think if we are going to be serious about at least attempting to play the same way that we played last season, and that's a big if, because if he does, I don't think we'll be successful. But if he does intend to play in that same way, we need better defenders. It's just clear we need better and more defenders. We can't rely on Udogie just to be a left back. We can't rely on Pedro Porro to be at right back. We can't just rely on Van der Ven and Romero, and you probably include Dragusin in there now. But even his bloody agent starting to gather up pace, and he had a fucking great opening game in the Euros, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of talk about him, how he was playing. His agent must be laughing. Oh, I'm going to start using this shit now. If they don't start getting, so I think we still need another player in defense. If you was going to buy 2 players, then I'll ask both of you. 2 positions, not 2 players, 2 positions. Because I think we need at least 4 positions, if I'm honest. I think we need a striker. I think we need a centre-back. And I think we definitely need a number 6/8 midfielder. And then I'm going to say, we need a left-back and need a right-back. That's 5. But okay, you tell me. What's our priority then? Sid, what's our priority? If we're not going to do much business and it doesn't look like we're going to do loads of business, what is the priority?
The priority is a number 6 and a number 8, like you said. And I agree with you, Sam. I don't think it's 1 or 2 signings. I think it's a 6 or an 8 or both, a striker, a right back and a left back, and even a centre back cover. So that's 3. I'm saying 5.
You just named about 22 there.
There's so many players.
Do you know what, Darius? I agree.
So fucking many.
If Porro gets injured, who's the backup?
But the thing is, if we sell Emerson, Like, I don't like if we sell Emerson, I see us buying a backup. Do you know what I mean? It may be like a 10,
Right.
15 million, but I see us buying a
Yes.
backup. So
And
I don't
then-
really include that in like priority. Do you know what I mean? Because it looks like we're actively going to sell Emerson.
Yeah, and then who's the backup to Lionel? We haven't got a backup to Lionel, right? So if Lionel gets injured, we haven't got backup for him. And just in case you're wondering who Lionel is
Richie, I know who he is.
Yeah, you know who he is, right? So Destiny goes out. We haven't got him.
That was a good one, though. I did like it, though. I wasn't going to laugh too hard. I didn't want to give you that kudos, but it was good. It was good.
Yeah. Centre backs as well. If one of them two gets injured, we haven't got cover, right? And
Yeah.
he's already said that he wants another cover. We already knew what Bissouma done last season. Hoiberg, in and out, skips.
He's on his way out. He could go Dortmund.
He had a fucking cracking game the other day. He was man of the match apparently. So that's another one, and he'll go because now I think he's put himself up in that ladder in the Euros. So I think somebody will take him easily, and Hoiberg will go. Striker's a problem. So listen, don't. I might go through the whole team, but there's a lot. There's a lot, and unfortunately, all is not going to happen. Maybe I don't even know if anything's going to happen.
What's your priority then?
I think it's very simple for me. If you give me two positions, I give me a 6 and give me a left wing. If I can only have 2, give me a DM, give me a left wing. It's purely because the quality in those positions in the first 11 and backup is non-existent. So I think you can get away. When I say get away, I'm not talking about, your players shining, but you can get away with that striker position if you had to. Son can play there, Richarlison can play there. You have a multitude of young players who can play there. Right wing can get away with. You've got Brennan Johnson, you've got Kulusevski, you've got Trigger Warning also that can play there. Again, 8. There's players like Tyrese Hall, Mikey Moore, who I'm not trying to say to start, but again, if it gets dire and injuries start piling on, you have players like that who can come in. If we sell Højbjerg, I expect us to bring in a midfielder to replace him. So again, not worried about that. Left back, Van de Ven is proven to me he could be an adequate backup left back. I don't really have a problem with that. Right back, I see us replacing Emerson. So again, I'm not really looking at that. And then centre back, that would be my third choice if I had a third one. So when I go through the team and I think about it like that, for me, it has to be a DM and a left winger without a shadow of a doubt.
So 2 players, Sid. If you only had 2, just give me 2 positions.
2 positions.
You had to.
If I had to, okay, a 6 and a striker.
6 and striker.
Yeah.
Fair.
Because like Terry, is it John Terry? Like
Terry Wright.
Daniel Coy is saying we need a striker that's going to be consistent and score goals, and that's what we need because last season we was playing Son there, didn't work, and then we didn't have anyone else there. So if you've got a consistent player that's going to get you goals up top, we're going to win a lot of games. And then obviously the 6 is a massive problem.
Okay.
I think you can distribute goals with our system, though. That's what I've noticed about, because the biggest thing for us was when Kane left on literally the first game of the season. It was how are we going to replace the goals, and the goals wasn't even the issue for me. The goals we didn't score. Did we score? We scored more goals than we did the season before, didn't we?
Just about.
So, just about. Yeah, I remember it was just about, but we were on level. Let's say on level, if not slightly better. It was the 60-odd goals we conceded that was the problem. And for me, I kept saying this throughout the season when we were conceding and the defense was getting slaughtered. I was not blaming the individuals that were making up that back 4/back 5. Even Vicario, when he had, set pieces, a bit of a shaky period in set pieces. I don't necessarily blame him for that because we weren't set up to help him defend those set pieces. Again, the individuals that make up our back 4, in my opinion, is one of the best in the league. If you go from right back to left back, Porro is probably our weakest, but I wouldn't be actively trying to replace him because he had a good season. He has very good qualities to play our system. Van de Ven, Romero, in my opinion, 2 of the best centre-backs in the league, and Udogie, one of the best left-backs in the league. So for me, it's the system or it's the personnel in front who were not preventing these attacks from, seeping through to the defense. I.e., we need a defensive midfielder. If you look at Rodri, if you look at Rice, those are the players who. Saliba looks like a better. I'm not saying Saliba's not a good defender and Gabriel's not a good defender, but they look better than they are because half the attacks aren't making it. And yeah, they're pushed up way past their line as well, like we are. But they suffocate their players, and they have players who can intercept, who can win the ball back before them centre backs need to even get into any issue. So for me, that DM position is so important. If we had someone like a Paulinho who plays in at Fulham, or just somebody who could, they don't necessarily need to be the best going forward, but if they have a good range of passing, long, short, they can beat a man and they can win the ball back, intercept, we would see a lot less issues, I think, with our defense than we would, when we would with, the likes of Bissouma. And again, I don't really look at those central midfielders, the eights, as contributing to the defense because they are so attack minded. So yeah, it's just, I think that DM is so important. I don't think people realize how important it is and how big it would make a difference to our team if we had an elite. And when I say elite, I'm talking about spending like 60 mil, close to breaking the record for a player who is going to fit that system and do a job.
Listen, David Cox put a comment in there, right? I swear down, if that happens, I will not be going to watch.
Wait, what's this comment?
McKennie.
Oh, please.
Why the fuck are we now linked with him again? We were linked with him 2 seasons ago. He didn't want to come to us, and then he went to Leeds and he had a stinker, and now we're linked again. I'm telling you now, if
that's the Højbjerg replacement, we're in trouble.
We're in big.
Listen. I don't know about this McKennie. You go on, talk, because I don't know.
Go on,
he played for
Juventus. He was average.
Yeah, at best.
He's an average midfielder.
Yeah.
So is this serious conversations, or we just transfer rumors as always?
It's come back again, Sam. We was after him 2 seasons ago when we got Bentancur and Kulusevski, and we were hellbound. And then something happened, and he said no. Then we went back for him. Then we said no, forget it. And then he fucking ended up at Leeds United, and he played shit, and they got rid of him. And now there's rumors circulating again that PRTv wants him.
Well, he was meant to be included in the deal with Aston Villa for Douglas Luiz. So it was meant to be him, Illing Jr. going to Villa, Douglas Luiz going the other way, plus 20 million euros. So it worked out to be quite a lot of money. But whatever happened, contracts weren't agreed. They actually went for another player called, I think, Berenchea. So he is now, I think, gone to Villa, and Illing Jr. Weston McKennie. There was a link, and that the reason I'm not too scared is because Alistair Gold, who I do think is very reliable with Tottenham News, said that we aren't really linked with Weston McKennie. Those reports aren't true, but he basically came out of that swap deal and became available, and he is very much, like Sid said, admired by PRTv. So he's so average. It's like he ain't bad, but he ain't good. You know what I mean? It's just
serious. I'm not joking.
Average.
Forget Weston McKennie, because if PRTv goes for Weston McKennie, I'm fucking getting Western Union involved, and he's going.
Honestly,
I'm
mate,
packing him and sending him.
It's not. This is what I'm worried about. Tottenham is the players that they're looking at signing. I'm not trying to call them bad, but they ain't moving any needles. And at the moment in time, we need needle movers in this team because funds aren't being thrown around like Arsenal's and City's and Chelsea's and even Liverpool to an extent. Like, Liverpool were ready to spend 100 million on Caicedo. They didn't get him. They got Endo. They're probably going to rehash that money into another investment. For me, it's like, I look at this and I think players we've been linked with, bar Eze, it's
average.
It's average. That's all it is. Average.
And for me,
it's going to raise the level of this team in any way.
I don't mind them looking at potentials. That's fine.
Potential is different to average, though.
Yeah. So again, I'm trying to give him some. I don't know this player, so I can't really talk about him in that sense. But what I will say is, in terms of the transfer market, it's a difficult one to. Well, it's going to be difficult now because of both those big tournaments. So to get players and to do all that business is going to be hard anyway. Then you've got the added factor of if players do well that you might have been looking at, you haven't done the deals for, the price is going to go up. It's normal. Then you're also going to have the fact of, oh, I've seen that player playing. Ooh, I might be interested in. So other people are going to be involved. So it becomes it's always a difficult market when you have the big tournaments on. because you can't either you get your business done soon or you wait till afterwards and then it becomes more problematic unless you've got the deals kind of sewed up. But what's going to happen with Spurs is I think it's more the wages that I've got a problem with the wages that we're paying some of these players at this moment. Just looked at some of the wages. Obviously, Ndombele is now gone. But we just signed up TW on a massive contract.
180.
I saw the likes of Solomon, obviously Perisic is gone now, but there was players that were way over 100 grand a week for just mid.
You know what? I don't even, I'll be honest with you. I think the wages aren't a problem. If you look at compared to other, I mean, Kai Havertz is on 265k a week. And yeah, he contributed to that season, but he's on 265k a week. Marcus Rashford is on 300k a week. Like, I think the wages allows us to be able to not piss off our star players and also bring it. We're basically set up to bring in potential players. And this is why I'm a little bit worried, because we're not going to break that wage structure. We're not going to annoy Son. We're not going to annoy who else is at the top of that list. I don't really know who else is really up there now. Madison. We're not gonna go and get in a 60-70 million player and say, here, have 220, 230k a week. We're not going to do that. That's why I'm worried. It's all about getting these kids who are going to potentially be stars, and it's not going to help us in the trajectory that we're going right now. Our system is predicated on quality, and that's why, for me, the wages ain't. I'm not scared about the current wages we're paying. I'm scared about the fact that we're not going to pay the wages for the players that we need. You know what I mean? And when you're currently 250 plus K at Kai Havertz and you're throwing 300k at Marcus Rashford,
this might need to be updated. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to get
no, please.
Currently around about 200k. James Madison 170k. These need to be ratified, but I think they're roughly right. Timo Werner 165k. Christian Romero 165k. So if you just take those four, now just read the names out. I'll read the names out. Heung-min Son 190. He's been a good few years. Don't mind paying him. James Madison,
wage, my opinion.
number 10, potential to be a very good player for us. Has shown the quality. 170. I'll give you that. Christian Romero, World Cup winner, Argentine. He's not a captain, but you know what I mean.
Well, I think he's vice.
There you go. Worth the money, would you say? I'd say so.
Yeah.
The outlier in all of this fucking shite is this bullshit here. That's gonna fuck up everything. If any player that wants to come to Spurs, I don't care. You can. Oh, it's only 1 year's loan. I don't give a toss if it's 1 year's loan. Any player that wants to come to Spurs looks at these things. They look at, right, okay, if you're a quality player, because if you go down this list, Richarlison 90 grand, Pedro Porro, I'd be like 85 grand. I'm not having that. No wonder Dragason's agent wants him to go. His fault for getting him signed up at 85 grand. Ben Davies is on 80 grand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking at this list and thinking, yeah, you might say, oh, well, the wages are not a problem. But when you start adding them up for the players that we've got who are not that great, it is a problem. It is a problem because I would come to the club and say, all right, you want me to come to this club now? I think Man United might want to pay me 250. All right, and I'm going to settle on 110. It's not going to happen. Not if my man here, make it even bigger. Do you know what I mean?
It's difficult to look into Werner's wages, I think. Because if you signed him to a 3 year on that, I'd be pissed off.
I told you at the start of that previous rant, I don't care if he's there for 1 year or 3. He's being paid that money. So you're not...
the thing, Sam. He was always on that wage from Chelsea. My thing is the 8 million that we're paying him could have gone into a signing. That's why I'm annoyed. We didn't need to sign him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's wasted money. I'm looking at his wages and but okay, I'm gonna have to move off of this because I'm gonna do myself an injury. But the point I'm trying to make is if you're going to try and attract top quality players, if you don't offer them the potential to win something, we're a winning club. We're not a Man United. We're not a Chelsea. You know, as much as they're maligned and they have got that to offer players. You know what I mean? We can get this right. Man United won a trophy last season. They've won 2 on the trot in the last 2 years. As shit as they've been, Chelsea have not recently come off the back of having my man there and won a European Champions
final last year, though.
So again, they went to a final last year. They're in this absolute stinky turmoil, but yet they're still going out and trying to get the best players that they can get for the availability, whatever they need to do. I just don't think when you hear the rumors that we're linked to Eze, and the reason of the title for the show being what it was is because I don't believe that. I don't believe it because of what we've already done in that position, in a similar position. We've got a youngster coming in, the Bergville coming in. So again, that's going to probably fill a 10 position.
Yeah, I think midfield, Højbjerg gets sold, you buy a replacement. I think that's how it rolls. Now, I don't know. Højbjerg didn't really fit into that system. So with that Højbjerg money, do you get a backup for a Saar? Or do you see Bergvall as that backup? And do you get a backup for, I don't know. Do you put that money towards getting a defensive midfielder? Is basically what I'm trying to say. So
yes,
midfield, I think, is fine. I think when you look at, like you said, Bergvall and potentially Tyrese Hall, Mikey Moore in a year's time, there's a lot.
That's why I'm not looking at the forward. That's why I'm not looking to fill any more forward players. I'm not looking to fill a left or even if I had to get 2 players now, for me, that number 6 or 6/8, a really, really top quality midfield. Because don't forget all this stuff that's happened with Bentancur. I think that's going to have a bit.
Oh, that's sticky. I didn't realize what he said. I searched up what he said. I didn't realize that's what he said. That's bad,
That's not good. That's not
bad.
Good. So again, that's going to be a bit of topsy-turvy in there, depending on what happens with that situation. So a 6/8 is essential, and I think we have to have another centre back. I think we have to have 4 quality centre. It's so
over a forward player.
Yes, because I think we can.
It's happy to have Werner, MS. Sorry, trigger warning, MS, and Son as your left wingers, and Richarlison
because you guys have just said it. You said it earlier. We can still score the same amount of goals. And if you look, the season's gone. Even in the bad days of Conte, we were still scoring the amount of goals that we kind of scored last season. So I don't think goal scoring is a problem. But defending goals, if we let in that many goals again, we know we had a 10-game head start last season. Sid, can you see us starting the same way this season to be able to say, right, we're going to outscore teams? Because I think we can get the goals, but I just think that defense, if you haven't got your first team players there, as in Van der Ven and Romero, it's stuffed. It's stuffed, in my opinion.
It's lessons learned from last season, isn't it? I think Postecoglou is obviously not happy with the way they've conceded goals. He's had the season last season, and he won't want a repeat of that this season. So he's going to make sure, cloak and dagger, make sure that does not happen again this season, and he will do everything in his powers. I still think I agree with you. If we do play the way we did last season, we will concede goals, because you need, like Darius summed it up, you need someone in front of them that's going to help them out even before the ball comes to them. So half the work, 3/4 of the work is already done before the ball comes to the centre backs. We didn't have that last season at all. Everyone disappeared. So it's going to be interesting, and he's keeping the wing backs fit again all season. Composed is going to be an issue. So I listen, as much as we can say we can keep the players and we'll score goals, we can keep them defenders, but we will concede goals. And under Angie's system, we will concede goals unless, I mean, who's to say that if we went and bought 2 more centre backs, these centre backs ain't going to get in straight away until Van der Ven or Romero gets injured anyway. Look at what happened to Dragusin.
You could sign Van Dijk and you could sign Saliba the next day.
Exactly.
And we still concede 60 goals. The man had nine players on the pitch and chose to play the same way. So if he doesn't change anything, it doesn't matter how many centre backs you buy. Nothing's going to change. In my opinion. Sorry to interrupt you there, sir.
Yeah, and they're not going to be starters straight away, are they? Because they're not replacing Romero and Van der Ven, are they? So it's. I'm glad I'm not in his boots when the transfer window.
But this is what football managers are not paid to be nice. They're not paid to look after people's egos. That comes as part of the job, how you manage that. But you're not initially paid to look after and massage egos. You're paid to win as many football games as you can and to get the best players on the pitch to play the best system that you can, given your ingredients, shall we say. I know that if we're playing 4 competitions next season, there's going to be more rotation. There has to be more rotation. You can't just play that same 11 or 12 or 13. Like what he was trying to do for parts of last season. He was forced into making some of those actual changes because of injury suspensions. And then when we did get those players back, them players weren't playing that well anyway. And we were still seeing the same players. We were all saying, well, why can't we have a change? Why can't he make this change? And we were saying that. I remember us in plenty pre-shows and review shows. It's the same team. You was doing it. You was putting the team up. This is what I'd prefer to do, Sam, but this is what I think he's going to do. And we saw it. You can't do that next season. We will be taken apart because everybody knows how we play now in the Premier League and in the Europa League that we're going to play. You've got some really good teams, and you can be as naive as you want to thinking you can just outscore them. You might outscore some of the lower level ones, but you ain't going to win that competition playing like that. You just won't. The managers that do win competitions like that, what's his name? Unai Emery, who's got form for winning. But Tuchel, those managers know what they have to do to win those games of football. Now, I'm not saying to change philosophies. I'm not saying that because people say, oh, well, we're going to go back to boring football. You're going to want us to play. No, I don't. But what I want to do is look at the opposition you're playing. Are we better than most of the teams that we play in the Premier League? Probably so. But if a manager like Gary O'Neill can structurally see what we fucking do and make sure that he doesn't lose and beats us twice, there's got to be a problem there for me. I don't care who you are. There's got to be a problem. Now, every team doesn't just get up for playing Spurs. Man United get the same thing. Chelsea got the same sort of thing. Every team has that. The smaller teams want to play up against the big teams. But you should be able to get your team to at least be competitive in all situations, in my opinion. And don't just be like, okay, we're going to just play like this. And I don't care who it is, we're doing that. That's great if you're under 9s and you're playing grassroots football. Not in the Premier League. Not in the Premier League. Manchester City don't do it. Arsenal don't do it. Liverpool don't do it. No one does it. And people are going to say, well, as Pep does. No, he doesn't. He has the same philosophy, but tactically he changes things as and when he needs to in every competition that I've seen Pep do. And they are the best team in the world, probably. They are the best team in the world. But they didn't win the Champions League this year because a team who's got pedigree in it won it because they know how to get the best out of the team in any given situation with a manager that clearly knows as well.
Put it like this. At that brand new Santiago Bernabeu stadium, brand new stadium, $1 billion stadium, whatever you want to call it, their fans cheered them on while they sat and absorbed Man City's attack for the whole game. And did those fans give one toss about how they played? Absolutely not. Because they are built and predicated on winning. It doesn't matter how, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter where. You win at all costs.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between... It's not even just... I'm not even blaming the fans, but it's the difference between the entire culture of the club. The fans don't care how they play football.
But I will say that about Real Madrid. They won't do that all the time because obviously their style of football has to be a style. That's why they get the Galacticos and all the rest of these players that they're getting now. But you're right in what you say. To win a competition, to win the Champions League, Carlo Ancelotti didn't say, I've got all these attackers, I'm just going to go out and attack. And I don't care what happens. He's not going to do that because he knew he wouldn't win that competition playing that way. You have to do things to win a competition. And I'm a bit dubious about that. Little bit dubious about it. So we'll see. September 1st is approaching. Well, not really. It's still a while away, but it's on its way. And relax. The games are coming on soon. So final thoughts I'll get from both of you. Darius, start with you. Final thoughts. What do you think is going to happen over these next few weeks? Oh, he's completely still. Sid.
I'm joking. I reckon it's going to be the same old. It's going to be rumors. Wait for the Euros to finish, and then let's see what happens. But I'm not banking on it, to be fair. I'm banking on maybe 2 signings, but I'm just going to wait until the shirt in the stadium with the shirt saying I've signed for Spurs.
I'm I'm gonna wait until September 1st.
Yeah.
But my priorities have changed in terms of where I was thinking striker. I don't think for me a striker is not a priority now, given I don't think we're going to make that many signings. A number 6/8 and a centre back or a fullback, either right or left. And if I'm going to probably have to put my hat or throw my hat in the ring regarding one side, I say the right hand side because I think Van der Ven can play that left hand side if we needed him to. Then you could bring Dragusin in possibly. But if you have another centre-back, a left-sided centre-back, that's when you could do it. So if you have a problem with Udogie, Van der Ven could go out there. You could have your left-sided centre-back, and then you could replace him with Dragusin or Romero. Give one of them a rest if you need to, or change them competitions. The right-hand side is going to be a problem because Porro / Royale. If Royale goes, I don't know what we do then. But this is not my problem, is it? It's not our problem. But we're going to face the facts and the consequences because of it. Darius has had to go. I think he's stream effed up. Sean is saying the league is hardly a challenge to a quasi-state team like Real. Not sure what that's saying. But what I will say is the Liga might not be, but the Champions League certainly is. So they've won that 15 times. And they've won that 5 times in the last, 12 years? Whatever it would be. So yeah, they obviously doing something right. Is he back? Oh, you back to say your final thoughts then?
Yeah, sorry, my phone keeps eating and
Pay your bill, man.
every time you have to wait with the iPhone for it to cool down.
Listen, there was a song about
so
that.
Annoying. It's overheating.
There was a song about that, Darius,
bill.
and he said, "Pay your bills, pay your bills."
Listen.
Pay your bills, fam.
I my phone is cooled down now. So if you update me on what is it, final thoughts? Are we at the stage of final thoughts already?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Carry on. Just pretend I was here this whole time.
We're waiting for yours then.
Waiting for you then.
My final thoughts are it's not looking great. I don't think it's looking very easy for us this window. I think that Elise transfer is going to put a massive spanner in our plans and our works. And, seeing players like him, the quality of Elise, I know it's Bayern Munich. I know they kind of, can not lowball in a sense, but they can be a little bit cheap because they know they have the pool. But 45 million plus 5 add-ons for Elise. It shows that there still is value in a market if you will do it diligence. So, yeah, for me, I think because it seems like it's all eggs in this Eze basket. I think a lot of people will be disappointed if we don't sign Eze. I'll be disappointed if we sign Eze and don't sign anyone else. So, for me, we can't look at that signing. If it happens, again, I'm not trying to say, well, I don't think it necessarily will. I still am quite optimistic it will. But if it happens, there's still a lot more that needs to be done. And whether that gets done, I'm not. There's no evidence, like we've said, to suggest that that this club's gonna go and make the right signings and bring in the right players to win a trophy. And also, let me just say, I did say this a bit earlier on. As much as we want to sign all these players, I really do think that manager has to change something going into next season. And I'm not trying to say he has to go and completely reroute his whole philosophy and change it completely. But and again, even the greatest manager of all time, in my opinion, Pep Guardiola, tweaks his system every single year to stay one step ahead of the opposition. I really think he needs to do something. Just tweak it. Just do something slightly different.
His little nut job as well wants to do the same thing. Arteta, mini Pep.
And again,
he thinks he can do the same shit, doesn't he?
We say that, and he may just copy exactly what Pep's doing, but
he does.
It works. And again, I'm looking at another understudy of Pep in Enzo Maresca at Chelsea. And again, I'm not trying to say that they're going to be world beaters, but don't be surprised if they have a good season. They finished well. I said Chelsea would finish in the top 4. They finished 6th. Don't think that was that bad considering what season they had. So again, look at all these clubs who are making moves in the market. We can't get left behind. We
won't get left behind because I don't think there's that many teams worse than us. But there are teams that didn't perform as well as they should have last season, who I think are going to be better. Chelsea being one of them. Look towards the end. United, I think, and probably Newcastle. I think is another team that's probably going to be better.
Do you think Villa are going to get any worse?
I think Villa will struggle with the Champions League factor. That's
Football
what
time,
I think they have a
Football
better
time.
squad than Newcastle.
Football time. Sid saying football time. Right.
Time.
Do you want to say bye then, people? Bye to everybody. Make sure you smash a like on the like button, if there's a like button, if that's the space. Whatever you want to do. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Look out for the changes coming. PRTv Spurs from 1st of October. Exclusively, Paxton Road will be dissolving. Dress? What is dress? When you can show a toilet phenomenal inside, can you be positive because we buy a couple of gems? That's like your wife going to a ball with a diamond necklace, but a tattoo.
A tattered dress.
A tattered dress. Oh, sorry. I thought it was tattooed. But anyway, my reading's gone. That means it's too warm. Thank you, Sid. Thank you, Darius. It's time to go. We'll do another Sid Talks. Darius Speaks. Whatever you want to do about this transfer window, we'll do something else because it's not going to be too much to talk about. But anyway, we found an hour and a bit to do this. Make sure you do smash that like. We're going to go out with the drum and bass. Is it this one? Yep, it's this one. That's it. Thank you. Come on, you Spurs.
Develop,